The following courtroom scenario has been created to give students practice in identifying possible objections in a trial. State v. Young is a criminal action case. On the night of September 26, 2011, Officer Larry Bolton was on duty when he noticed a defendant's car parked on the side of the road in the grass. According to Officer Bolton, after he turned his patrol car around to investigate further, the defendant pulled out in front of him without signalling, which caused him to have to brake in order to avoid a collision. Officer Bolton attempted to pull the defendant over, but the defendant allegedly jumped out of the car and ran off. Officer Bolton caught up with the defendant and detained him for evading arrest. The defendant was not found to be under the influence of any drugs. Upon searching the defendant, Officer Bolton found a large sum of money in small bills. After the defendant was taken to jail, Officer Bolton went back to the defendant's car, conducted an inventory search, and found 3 bags of cocaine and 2 boxes of baking soda. He also found a cell phone and a bag containing a white rock-like object, which was on the road. The defendant, Danny Young, was charged with possession and intent to deliver illegal drugs.
The state may now present its first witness. All witnesses have been pre-sworn by agreement. The state, you may proceed.
The prosecution calls Officer Larry Bolton to the stand.
Prosecution, you may proceed.
Please state your name to the court.
Officer Larry Bolton.
What is your occupation?
I work for the Texas City Police Department as a patrol officer.
Were you on duty the evening of September 26th, 2011?
Yes.
What were you doing that night?
I was on duty patrolling in the area around South Robertson Street in Texas City.
What time was this?
About 7:27 p.m.
What do you remember about that time?
I was driving west down South Robertson. I noticed something suspicious, so I turned my patrol car around.
What did you notice that was suspicious?
I don't remember exactly, just something caught my attention.
What did you do next?
I headed east down South Robertson so that I could investigate the suspicious thing. I noticed that there was a vehicle parked in the grass, off of the road in the grass.
What vehicle was it?
It was a black Buick Regal.
What did you do then?
I called the police department dispatch and reported my stop.
What did the dispatcher say?
Objection. Hearsay. The witness is testifying about something that someone else said outside of court.
Mr. Kettler, your response?
The statement is not offered for the truth of the matter asserted in the dispatcher's statement, but it is offered to support Bolton's testimony that he saw something suspicious. The statement is necessary because Bolton cannot remember what he saw. What did you do after you reported your stop to the dispatchers?
I turned my patrol car around again so I could investigate the suspicious car.
Did you make any further observations?
Just a moment. I turned my patrol car around and I noticed that the running lights of
Objection. The witness is clearly reading from his offense report.
The objection sustained.
Officer Bolton, what happened next?
I don't exactly remember what happened next.
Did you prepare an offense report on the day of the incident?
Yes.
Was your offense report written by a person who had knowledge of what it contains?
Yes.
Is that person who had knowledge you?
Yes.
Was the offense report made close in time to the event that it occurred?
Yes.
Did you note in the offense report what happened next?
Probably.
Would the document refresh your memory?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness stand?
Yes, Mr. Kettler, you may.
Officer, I am showing you your offense report, which is marked for identification as Exhibit 1. Please take a moment to read. Have you had a chance to read it?
Yes.
Did your offense report refresh your recollection as to what happened next?
Yes.
So what happened after you turned your patrol car around again?
As I approached the black Buick Regal, I noticed that its running lights were on.
Mr. Kettler, may you continue?
So as you approached the Buick, what rate of speed were you driving?
I wasn't going very fast.
About what speed was that?
I don't know, I could see that its running lights were on though.
Objection, the answer is non-responsive. The prosecution asked what speed he was going, not what the officer could see.
The objection sustained. Mr. Kettler?
Officer, what speed would you say you were driving in miles per hour?
About 15 miles per hour.
What happened as you approached the Buick?
It pulled out onto the roadway in front of me without signaling. I had to slam on my brakes so that I wouldn't hit it.
Then what did you do?
I followed the vehicle and attempted to stop it.
Traffic violations the driver had committed, correct?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor, that's a leading question.
The objection sustained. Mr. Kettler? Would you please rephrase your question?
Yes, Your Honor. Why did you attempt to stop the vehicle?
I witnessed the driver commit 2 traffic violations, failing to yield the right-of-way and failing to signal before entering onto the roadway from a stop position.
When you attempted to pull over the driver of the Buick, what happened?
The driver jumped out of the car and ran off while the car was still in motion. The vehicle continued and drifted off into the ditch.
Can you tell us who it was you saw running from the vehicle?
Yes, it was the defendant, Danny Young.
Was there anything else you noticed as the defendant ran off?
Yes, as he was running, I saw things falling out of his jacket pocket onto the road.
What fell out of his pocket?
As I got closer, I saw a cell phone and what appeared to be a white rock-like object.
Is the photograph marked as State's Exhibit 2 in the notebook in front of you an accurate depiction of the items you saw fall out of the defendant's pocket?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Lance, you may proceed.
Thank you. The exhibit has not been authenticated as a clear and accurate depiction of the scene, as it was darkly lit and lit only by artificial light.
When did you find the defendant?
About 5 minutes after he had ran from his car.
Where was the defendant at the time?
3 blocks away from where he had left the vehicle.
What action did you take when you found him?
I drew my gun on him and detained him for evading arrest. Then, incident to arrest, I performed a Terry pat-down search.
What did you find during the search?
I found a small box of baking soda. It's a very common ingredient used in making crack
Objection,
cocaine.
Your Honor. This opinion is outside of the scope for which the officer's been qualified. Did you notice anyone else in the Buick Regal?
No.
But you didn't immediately get out of your car and look closer, did you?
No, not at that time.
So you can't really say if anyone else was in the car, can you?
I don't think there was.
Officer Bolton, did you notice anyone else in the Buick Regal?
Objection. Asked and answered.
Officer Bolton, you inventoried the Buick Regal, is that correct?
Yes.
And you claim to have found 3 bags of cocaine and 2 boxes of baking soda, is that also correct?
Yes, I did.
But you had never inventoried a vehicle for drugs before this day, had you?
Objection. Relevance. The question calls for an irrelevant answer because it is unimportant how many related inventories the witness has conducted.
So, Officer Bolton, you claim that a cell phone and a white rock-like object fell out of the defendant's pocket.
Yes.
And in your opinion, that white rock resembled crack cocaine.
Yes.
So you don't think it could have been a regular old rock off the road?
No, I don't.
So you can tell a regular rock from cocaine at a distance of 10 feet in the dark with glasses as thick as those. Is that what you expect the jury to believe?
Objection. The defense is arguing with the witness.
The prosecution calls Crystal Young to the stand.
The witness has been pre-sworn before this court. Prosecution, you may proceed.
Please state your name for the court.
Crystal Stephanie Young.
How are you related to this case?
I'm married to Danny Young, not that that's any of your business.
Do you recall what happened on the night of September 26, 2011?
You know what? I'm testifying against my will. My husband did nothing wrong. You need to find a real criminal to try.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask the court to treat this witness as hostile and continue on with leading questions.
This court recognizes the witness as hostile. You may proceed, counsel.
Ms. Young, isn't it true that on the night of September 26, 2011, your husband told you that he was going to go out and earn some rent money?
Yes.
But your husband wasn't employed at the time, was he?
No.
In fact, isn't it true that your husband was a drug addict and couldn't hold down a job?
Objection. The statement is inadmissible because its probative value is substantially outweighed by the danger of unfair prejudice.
The objection sustained.
Your Honor, I move for a mistrial.
Your husband has not held down a job for no longer than a few weeks since y'all have been married, has he?
I don't know, I guess not.
In fact, isn't it true that your husband said to you that he was going out to sell some cocaine on the night he was arrested?
Objection, Your Honor. The witness's testimony is a violation of spousal privilege.
Your Honor, spousal privilege can only be raised by the witness, not the defending counsel.